Okay, so we are sitting over here, so you know we have some stuff to talk about. So I'm pregnant. It just feels so crazy to be able to finally tell you guys. Today is April 2nd, and it's been a long time coming for me to film this. Unfortunately, I was having issues with my computer, so anything that I was able to film, I wasn't able to edit. So finally I got my computer fixed recently, so I think it's finally time for us to talk about this together. As you guys know, my husband and I have been trying to conceive since 2019. We did have a miscarriage that I've talked about, and in December we found out that we were pregnant again. I have everything written down so I can remember like the timeline of events, and I'm kind of just jumping into talking about this, but I think it's mostly going to be all first trimester stuff because now I'm 18 weeks pregnant, so I am well into my second trimester. But like I said, I couldn't film anything for my first trimester, so this will be like the first trimester roundup. Yeah, on December 22nd, I had a very, very faint positive pregnancy test. And when I'm talking about very, very faint, I'm talking about when you've been trying to conceive for a long time, you've taken a ton of pregnancy tests, you get kind of into a position where you don't really trust yourself when you're looking at the pregnancy test. And this happened with the previous pregnancy as well, where I'm looking at the strip and, you know, there's a control line and then the line next to it that if it's positive, it will show up, and it will be, depending on how far along you are in your pregnancy, it will be lighter or darker. And the reason why I even took a pregnancy test was because I knew my period was due to come in a couple of days, but I was feeling similar symptoms as I was the first time that I was pregnant. I was just very exhausted, which will happen with me with my rash condition. It will make me very, very fatigued, especially if I'm having a flare. But I was so exhausted and tired, but then I was also, my chest really, really hurt. My breasts really, really hurt. And this is a feeling that if you get that when you're on your period, during pregnancy, it's a lot worse. I was realizing that I was having these same symptoms that I had had the first time I was pregnant, so that's why I even took a test. So I'm sitting there, you know, I take the test, I lay it on the counter, I come back to it and take a look at it, and it's that very, very faint line. And there is a very, very, very faint line there. And it's very hard to trust yourself that you are actually seeing a faint line or not. So I took like a couple pictures of it. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to like look at a picture of it rather than looking at it in real life, which sounds weird, but I know that there's a lot of people that will understand what I'm talking about. Noah was at work. After work, he went to get food and came home. What I decided to do was to put the pregnancy test in a Ziploc and then put it on a plate in the, Bruce just left. Put it on a plate in a cabinet, and then when he came home with the food, I knew I would ask him like, hey, can you grab a plate for me? That's what I did. He came home, he saw the test, he was really surprised. It's one of those things where we've experienced that kind of excitement before, so you are excited, but there's also that fear in the back of your head that maybe the pregnancy isn't going to be viable. It makes it like a bittersweet moment. So the next couple of days I kept taking tests, kept seeing if the line would get darker, and then a week later I took a pregnancy test and it was like a very strong positive result. During this whole time I'm messaging with my OB team, who is obviously aware of what's happened previously. They were also cautiously optimistic and giving me advice along the way with this. So when I had the strong positive at the end of December, they planned out my first OB visit. So that was at 7 weeks, which was the day after my birthday. So my birthday's on January 13th, and we went to our first OB visit. I was 7 weeks pregnant on January 14th. We did that very first ultrasound, which the last ultrasound that I had had before, was confirming that my prior pregnancy had was done. There's not really like a good word for it, but that my first pregnancy had finished, I guess. And at some point I will make a story, or I will make a video about my experience with miscarriage, but I just can't do that now. So anyways, that first visit, you get ready for them to do the ultrasound, or my OB team will always say, okay, I'm just gonna orient myself and then I'll turn the screen so that you guys can see. So when they were doing that very first ultrasound for this pregnancy, I was incredibly nervous. I was so scared. And before the visit that morning, Noah had been really excited. And he was like, oh my gosh, we get to go to our first ultrasound visit. Like, this is so exciting. We get to see the baby. And I crushed his spirits. So I hadn't explained to him all of the anxiety that I had been feeling. Like, of course he was aware of it, but I don't think he knew how stressful the very first OB visit would be. So that morning I explained to him, I was like, we could get there, they can do the ultrasound and then tell us that we don't have a pregnancy, that our pregnancy is over, that our baby isn't there. And I feel so horrible now for taking that excitement away from him, but I think ultimately he was appreciative, because then he knew what my mindset was and he could understand why I was so nervous. When we did that first ultrasound visit, I couldn't believe it. We had a baby in there. Astounded, elated, excited to see that we had a baby. It's always a relief, but that first visit in particular was just a huge relief to know that the baby was doing well so far. The OB that was doing the ultrasound called our baby a lima bean. At that point forward, we had just referred to the baby as a lima bean. When Noah and I were talking about the baby, I did blood testing, so at that time they were checking my RH type, antibodies, stuff like that. When I was 10 weeks, we were able to do another blood test that was genetic testing and also finding out the gender. So that was so exciting to do. And then we got the results like a week later. The way that the medical record system works now, it just releases your records as soon as a result appears. So it's not like how it used to be where your provider would send you a message and let you know, like, these are the results of your test. So now it just gets released to you, so you can just look at them immediately as soon as the result is there, which is good. But it also, if there's anything questionable on there, it can really make people like me who have a lot of health-based anxiety like panicky. We had got the result. I could see that there was a result in the system, and I was like, should we look at it? Should we look at it? I did take a video of that, of Noah and I getting those results and kind of going back and forth trying to decide, like, should we look? Like, should we not look? We looked that night.
I'm nervous. What?
I am too! I'm gonna click on it.
Are we?
Oh, you click on it.
No, I'm not clicking it.
Oh, okay. Ready?
I guess so.
Okay. Negative. So they didn't pick up anything.
What does that mean?
Any of the...
Gender is negative?
No.
Oh.
It should tell us the gender though. Oh man, I thought it was going to tell us the gender. Well, that's good. Everything's negative.
Yeah.
Because standard range is negative.
I see.
So standard range is like what's normal.
Oh yeah.
So that's really good. We're such freaks. That took us so long. How long did this? 4 minutes. 4 minutes of deciding that. And the only thing that it had said was that it was negative. So it was just saying that the results of the genetic testing are normal. Nothing showed up positive for any genetic defects. And then the next day, I messaged my provider, or that evening, I think, yeah, that evening I messaged my provider, and I was like, hey, I thought we would also get the gender result. And then the next morning she responded and she said, the result is there, it doesn't automatically get released just by the way that the system works, would you like to know? And of course we were like, yes, definitely. And then that morning the result came through. Okay, I'll include it below. A girl!
I'm gonna shake your hand.
That's okay.
Oh yeah, brother.
Bruce, you're gonna have a baby sister.
She's a dumb
Oh my god, we're having a girl.
Yeah.
Bruce is like, can we call her by her name now? Instead of Lima Bean? Oh god.
Wow. Wow, wow,
Granted, like all my video footage, like we look completely wrecked and it's either late at night or early in the morning, or Noah and I are like in pajamas or like in grungy clothes and stuff, so we're not. It's funny, you see all of these other people's videos of like their gender reveals and I'm pregnant, and it's all like beautifully aesthetic and all of that, and then there's ours where I'm just like in sweat clothes. So it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of funny. And so we looked and we found out that our baby is a girl. Noah and I were very excited. Noah and I still are very excited. It wasn't until recently that we had nieces. We've only had nephews for years and years and years. So everyone around us having kids has been mostly boys on both sides of our family. So it wasn't until recently that there's like a whole group of girls. And of course with gender, like we all know, she's assigned female at birth. That might not be what she chooses to identify as when she's older, and of course we will support our child in any decision that they make as far as their gender identity, their sexual identity, any of that. Noah and I are very supportive of anything. So for now, her gender is female. That does not mean that that is going to be how she identifies the rest of her life. February 16th, we had our second OB visit, and that one was another ultrasound, but it was like a specialized ultrasound. They're looking for fluid along, I think it's the neural tube along the back, and it's just another kind of way that they confirm the genetic testing that you do. Like if you have too much fluid, it's indicative of having like certain genetic abnormalities. So we did that, and then that was the 12-week mark. So that's the mark that people who are pregnant will either get to like 12 or 13 weeks. Your first trimester is usually over at 13 weeks. Around 12 to 13 weeks is when people usually decide that they'll let people know that they're pregnant. That was also during the snowstorm. So we lost power for 80 something hours. So that whole time it was me and Noah, Bruce and Domino with absolutely no power. On one of the last days we were able to get to that doctor's appointment, which was also stressful because that's such an important appointment to be able to get that ultrasound, confirm the genetic testing that you had already done, and that you can finally let people know that you're pregnant. We were just like living in the front room, trying to keep ourselves occupied, trying to pass the time. No power, no hot food, because we just have a gas fireplace, but we don't have a gas stove. So everything else in our house is electric. Did what we could, went to the store. Everything was sold out of the store. So we subsisted on like peanut butter and jellies, tuna fish sandwiches, Fig Newtons, nuts, like stuff like that. And just tried to wait it out. Oh, I forgot to show you guys. Which one? Yeah. So that appointment, that 12-week appointment, we have a great ultrasound of our girl. Very, very exciting. And this was at the point where when you look at her, she actually looks like a baby, has a profile of a human, whereas before, you know, we were calling her a lima bean, but now she actually looks like, or at that point too, she had finally looked like a human baby. So it was really exciting for us. Eventually we got power back, so that was great. On the day of our appointment, we were just so excited because we hadn't told anybody. Noah and I just kept it to ourselves. We learned with our first pregnancy that for us, at least, it's better to keep it keep that information to yourself, because with our first pregnancy, we had told several people immediately and then had to tell them that the pregnancy hadn't made it, and that was just so emotionally taxing, so we didn't want to have to potentially go through that again. This time, once we got our 12-week scan done and everything looks good with the genetic testing and with the scan, we started to tell people. So we told Noah's grandma, my mom, Noah's mom and stepdad, told my brother and his wife. We did film some of them, and I don't know, I might include it, I might not. I don't know. It's just like, I'm glad that I filmed it, at least to have it for us, but it's also just so personal too, so I don't know. I might include some clips, I might not.
How far along are you?
12 weeks.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh wow.
Can you see her?
Her?
Yes.
Did you say her?
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I am thrilled.
I'll send you a video after we're done with the call, and the video is her wiggling around and waving.
Oh, how cool. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the best news.
It was so exciting to be able to finally tell everybody and let everyone know. It's kind of hard to explain when you've been wanting a baby for so long. Like, I turned 29 this year and Noah's 28. We've been together for, it'll be 13 years this October, and we've been married for several years, and you finally have the thing that you wanted so badly for so long. We had started trying to conceive in 2019, so going through 2020 was particularly difficult because there were so many people around us getting pregnant, and it can be very difficult seeing so many people around you getting pregnant. It's very hard for you to be excited for them without having like a layer of jealousy over it, and I'm just being very honest because that's how I felt. At the end of 2020, to get that positive pregnancy test after all of us experienced a horrible 2020 was just so incredible and obviously life-changing. I'm now 18 weeks pregnant. I'm almost halfway through my pregnancy, and knowing that we have a baby, we have a child, I'm carrying a child, is just absolutely incredible, and I am so happy. It's almost hard to like convey because there's so many different emotions that go into being pregnant and go into starting a family that it's just hard to explain. So that is the timeline bringing us through my first trimester. So that's bringing you up to date, and then I'll make another video for my second trimester. But yeah, my first trimester went very well, especially considering a lot of pregnant people really struggle with the first trimester. I did have nausea for about 2 weeks, but I never threw up. It was just hard to eat. I had a lot of food aversions, could only eat what sounded good, and that was very few things. There's obviously other symptoms that I could go into, but I feel like the big question that people usually have is, did you feel really sick? Did you puke? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I felt bad for about 2 weeks, and I'm very, very lucky that I did. Felt very tired, exhausted, sleeping a lot. I still feel exhausted all the time. But yeah, the other symptoms are like gross, so we don't really have to go into them. So yeah, I finally get to tell you guys. We're gonna go through this together. Like I said, almost halfway through, so time is flying by. So I will take you guys along with us. There's still so much we need to do. There's so much that needs to be done. It's very overwhelming thinking about everything right now. So we're kind of just taking it as we go. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions about the first trimester, and I will try and answer them for you below. If you, like I said, if you have any oh my gosh, I'm like stumbling over my words. Yeah, do I want to talk about anything else? I don't know. I guess not. I feel like I've covered everything. Let me know if you guys have questions below. I will answer them in the comments pretty soon here. I'll be gearing up to make a second trimester video. Thank you for watching. If you guys are subscribed, thank you for being subscribed to my channel. I don't remember what my outro is because I haven't done a video for like 2 months, but I appreciate you. Thank you. I hope that you're staying safe and healthy. I hope that you're caring for yourself and the people around you and the people that are important to you. So have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.